We find that ERP implementations fail quite a lot because the buy-in from the finance side or the business leaders is not there. By that, I don't mean that they weren't involved in the demo front or seeing the potential of the system and what it could do to the business. In a lot of cases, it's not operationally involved from an implementation perspective. They kind of believe that once they've made the purchase decision, that the system is going to be implemented and going to do exactly what they want. Unfortunately, a system like an ERP in most cases has to be tailored towards your business. There's a lot of good systems off the shelf that give most businesses what they need. However, there's still some sort of configuration or tailoring to your business that needs to happen. If you're not involved in that process, two things happen. One, the system doesn't quite match the business requirements. And secondly, the users on the system can't use the system to its full potential. Now, we see this very often in terms of businesses that are very adamant that they don't want to send their staff on training. And we make it mandatory as part of our implementation process. And one of the checklists is that staff that are going to be use the system have to go through a certain number of training courses to be competent in the system so they have a better benefit. The other part of the system that part of the implementation that we make sure is mandatory is that the stakeholder is very clear, understanding the scope, understanding exactly what's going to be implemented and by when, and that they're involved in the sign-off process of each of the design documents so they truly understand exactly what's going to be delivered and what's not going to be delivered. I think with the hands-off approach on the old days is where a lot of the ERP implementations used to fail, and also why there's such a resistance to consultants in the industry, because the system that then gets implemented is very much a black box. New systems like Sage Intacct are very much configured from the front end. And in terms of actual after implementation support, if there's been an investment in training and being part of the implementation process, it's very little interaction with consultants after implementation. It very much becomes an empowerment of the business to own their systems in their own space and move forward without the consultants. Consultants obviously will be there in the background for any heavy lifting or any technical implementations or any new modules, but the system itself is self-sustaining. Taking that even one step further, the best systems, again, Sage Intacct has 4 releases a year that are automatic overnight. So what that means is there is no upgrades or needing business leaders to put time in their diary every year to do an upgrade of their financial system or the ERP system. This fundamentally changes how the interaction with your system works and the need for an understanding. So from an implementation perspective, we always say that business leaders need to be heavily involved throughout the process, ensure that their staff are empowered, and make sure that you work with business partners who truly understand how to implement it, particularly with project management and managing the budget and actual, so there's no nasty surprises. And as they go through the process, if there is any scope change or whatever, it's managed correctly and in a manner that doesn't give any nasty surprises at the financial year end.